It's here, it's the first round proper of the FA Cup, ready to start again for another season. Let's look ahead, see what we're reviewing today. Come on, the FA Cup. We will be reviewing Chorley Doncaster, Maidenhead Portsmouth, Ebbsfleet Cheltenham, Haringey Borough Wimbledon, the Met Police, games at Aldershot, Weston-super-Mare and Bromley, as well as a roundup of what bets we think will be good for the weekend. So Haringey Borough come into this FA Cup encounter with Wimbledon, and they will kick off this weekend's games to winning promotion last season into the Isthmian Premier Division. Have struggled a little bit of late with only 2 wins coming in their last 8, both of them wins coming in the FA Cup to qualify for the first round proper for the first time in their history. In the last round they beat Poole Town, which was a fantastic victory for them to reach this round. They currently sit 18th in the Isthmian Premier Division, so they'll have it all to do, especially being the 5th lowest goal scorers in that league, to find anything against League One opposition AFC Wimbledon. The boys from Tottenham will relish the opportunity though. It's the first time proper, as we said, that they've reached this FA Cup round. Last season they failed at the last hurdle, losing to Heybridge Swifts in the 4th qualifying round before entering this round of the FA Cup. And they come up against a Wimbledon side who are struggling of form lately. Their win on Tuesday night against Stevenage in the Checkatrade Trophy 4-0, ending a run of 7 straight defeats, meaning pressure being put firmly on the shoulders of Neil Ardley at Kings Meadow. Wimbledon have always stuck with Neil Ardley no matter what they've done, from the outstanding job that he has done. And that win on Tuesday night, coupled with a potential victory tomorrow night against Haringey Borough from a few levels below them, would probably calm him down for the next couple of weeks at least. Before that 4-0 drubbing of Stevenage in midweek was a 2-1 defeat at home to Shrewsbury in a game that was really a must-win for both managers who were aiming to keep their jobs currently. Wimbledon led in that game but ended up losing 2-1 to the struggling Shrews. This game at Coles Park, we feel it will be a tight encounter. Joel Newell, etc. will need to be at their best to penetrate and punish AFC Wimbledon for any mistakes that they make. You'd feel Wimbledon have enough professionalism to get them through this. Neil Ardley has done it at this kind of level before, bringing them through the divisions. Wimbledon's goals have dried up of late, but we fancy them to get the job done this weekend. Only 2 goals in the previous 7 games before Tuesday, but the 4 on Tuesday would have put a lot of people at ease, especially strikers like Appiah, who will thrive from that bit of confidence of his goal. So we're going for a 2-0 Wimbledon victory tomorrow night. This next match takes us to the oldest senior football ground, still being used by the same club in the world, at York Road, where Maidenhead United in the National League take on League One table toppers Portsmouth and 2008 FA Cup winners. Maidenhead will be hoping for some turning fortunes when Portsmouth arrive this weekend on the Saturday lunchtime game live on BT Sport. They have had a torrid time of it lately. Their last 3 games have all spelled defeats, scoring no goals and conceding an absolute embarrassing 15. Their form has completely gone, like a lot of non-league teams normally do after winning their final FA Cup qualifying game. I don't think that their head would have completely been on this Portsmouth game, but would have been in the back of their minds that they want to be sharp for it and put on a real show for the cameras and to try and get into that second round. Since beating Chippenham in that replay of the 4th qualifying round, and since the draw was made, we've said obviously they've made 3 massive defeats. One at the weekend to Dover Athletic, who were bottom of the National League. Before that, a 7-0 embarrassment away at Havant and Waterlooville, before a 6-0 defeat at home to AFC Fylde. Now, both of them games, while they were stuffings, both at 1-0 had a player sent off, which meant they were down to 10 men for the majority of the goals that went in. Especially at Havant, the turning tail, well, that is 1-0 down. Their goalkeeper got sent off, which means they're down to 10 men. But not only that, they didn't have a spare goalkeeper on the bench, which meaning an outfield player going in goal. And he surely won't be going back in goal anytime soon. They had a fantastic season last year, Maidenhead, in the National League, finishing 12th. Their home form was quite key, as well as scoring a lot of goals. Their home form, they've suffered 5 defeats at home And while they have beat teams like Chesterfield and Eastleigh, they have struggled in a lot of games, especially recently. They have experience up front in ex-Portsmouth striker Ryan Bird, who's been around a few clubs lately. He will be looking to try and get one back on his old team. And Adrian Clifton, who got 4 in 4 in August, has not scored since. He will be looking to get back his touch in front of goal, in front of the cameras, ready to start another goal-scoring run, I am sure. Portsmouth, on the other hand, the only team in the Football League unbeaten away from home. They continued that winning streak away from home with a 1-0 win at Bradford at the weekend, thanks to Gareth Evans. They come here after losing only one game in their history to a non-league team, a replay against Aldershot a few years back. Their obviously best ever record in the Cup was winning it in 1939 and 2008. They've conceded just 6 goals on the road this season, formidable on the road. But this is the FA Cup. Can there be a shock coming up? This would be a highly, highly big shock if Maidenhead can pull this off against League One table toppers Portsmouth. We're going for the fact that they won't. We think Pompey will be professional enough. Kenny Jackett has probably been here, done it enough times to know what banana skins look like. So we are going for a Maidenhead 1, Portsmouth 3 scoreline. Next up, Aldershot versus Bradford City, a real chance of a giant killing here, I feel. Aldershot sitting 13th in the National League, form hit and miss, quite low goal scorers for the National League with only 19 goals. But they come up against the Bradford City side, struggling for any kind of form. David Hopkins gone in, really struggled to get the winning run back into the team. 7 defeats in a row sit them to the foot of the League One table. Humiliation against Aldershot could be the final straw for Hopkins and the supporters who demand a change from the German owners. Bradford City do not want to be going back into League Two, and a little cup run could spark up a few good memories of a few years ago under Parkinson to maybe get the ball rolling going in the league again. 15 defeats out of 20 games this season. Such poor record, such for a club of Bradford's structure for League One. It really does need turning around. Owen Doyle has 3 goals. Ball has failed to score yet. They really need these players to start firing soon. Otherwise, it could end up being a really long, hard season for the Bantam supporters. Aldershot, though, their home form, like we say, is a bit hit and miss. It'd be interesting to see which one turns up on Saturday. But we feel that this could be an absolute giant kill. We're going for Aldershot to get the victory in a tight 2-1 win. Hayes Lane will host Bromley and Peterborough United. Bromley sitting 14th in the National League have got quite strong home form going into this game. Only defeats to Barnet, Salford City and a rejuvenated Braintree in the last time out at home have been their only downfall at home. Frankie Sutherland is loving life this season. 7 goals from him in midfield. Yes, he does take the penalties, but 7 goals is a great return for a central midfielder in a very good competitive level. They also boast a lot of experience, most notably, remember this man, Roger Johnson. The man used to move for millions going around playing for Wolves in the Premiership. He is now down here plying his trade with Bromley, trying to get them into the Football League. They have on a few occasions reached the second round of the FA Cup, which is the furthest they've ever got in this competition. Most recently in 1947, but they have done that on 4 occasions. Every time they've got through to the FA Cup first round since then, they've lost the last 11, most notably to Rochdale last season in the first round. Peterborough United lost their first league game this season away from home after a fantastic start to the year for the Posh, losing 1-0 at Wycombe Wanderers, a game which they probably felt they should have got something from, but nevertheless they returned to London Road with 0 points. They have suffered 2 other defeats on the road this season, QPR in the League Cup and MK Dons in a penalty shootout in the Checkatrade Trophy. Their away form speaks for itself. It's exceptional. It's very good. You know, their attack is potent wherever you look. Goals coming everywhere from Godden, Cummings, Ivan Toney. Cummings haven't scored in the league since August. Been in and out the team since. So Steve Evans may give this opportunity to him to get that confidence back, to get a goal in this game in the first round of the FA Cup, when really I don't expect Peterborough to take this lightly. We feel there's goals in this. We feel that Bromley will come at them at the same time, as Peterborough are so dangerous on the counter away from home. We're going for the same scoreline we did for Portsmouth. So we're going for a Bromley 1, Peterborough United 3 scoreline. Ebbsfleet United versus Cheltenham. Ebbsfleet started the season very well. They've fallen off the wagon somewhat lately. Only one win in 7 in September. They have turned that form around lately and are unbeaten in their last 4 matches. However, talk of boardroom problems, meaning they could be led to their powerhouse striker Danny Kedwell being sold, with rumoured links to Dover in the offering, having worked with Andy Hesenthaler at Gillingham. They will not want to lose any of their players, but the future at the moment seems a bit unbalanced. So what more would they need than a great giant killing knocking out League 2 Cheltenham? Massive experience in Kedwell and Drury and Weston. To get them through the line in this round, we really feel they do have a chance. They've reached the first round 4 times under their new name since they've been reformed. Every time they have lost, losing 6-2 at home to Doncaster Rovers in the first round last season. The visitors to Ebbsfleet Cheltenham Town, well, they've had a very troubled season, especially starting out from the summer of losing top goal scorer Mo Isa to Bristol City, and it hasn't really gone well since then. Gary Johnson left. Then there was a turnaround with Michael Duff, the club legend, coming in as manager for the last few games. His first victory came last week in a 6-2 victory over Arsenal's youngsters in the Checkatrade Trophy. That was his first win in 10 attempts. Cheltenham's best record is reaching the 5th round in 2001-2002 season, where they bowed out 1-0 to West Bromwich Albion. They'll be hoping for similar fortunes of that to gain some more money and revenue through to the club. However, the form this season is absolutely treacherous. Their away form shows that they only won 2 games, and their last game with Mansfield conceding right at the death in a 2-2 draw. We feel that Cheltenham, could really do with this win. But we also feel Ebbsfleet will really power through them and rejuvenate with the form at the moment. However, Ebbsfleet are in a strong position, 4 unbeaten, up against a not very confident Cheltenham Town team. We feel there could be another scalp here, and we are going for a 3-1 Ebbsfleet victory. Hello. It's the Met Police, and they host Newport County with no sign of a policeman in sight. Met Police have reached this level of the FA Cup 4 times and lost on all 4 occasions, most notably in 2012 where they lost 2-1 to Crawley Town. They did reach this level by beating National League side Havant and Waterlooville in a 1-0 win, which was a fantastic victory for them. Jack Mazzone and Max Blackmore will be looking to really fire, as they have done this season, shoot down League 2 opposition Newport County. The home form has been exceptional for the Met Police, only 1 defeat this season and 1 defeat in their last 12 games. Newport County will have it all to do. However, Newport County have very good fond memories of the FA Cup, most recently last season, knocking out Leeds United 2-1 at home at Rodney Parade, before going on to getting a replay out of Tottenham Hotspur, losing very respectively in the replay. The 5th round is the best Newport County have ever got in a 3-2 defeat to Portsmouth that season, and what more would they want than getting to that kind of stage again and another money spiller against a top team. But first they have to get through this Police side, who look very strong at home, and we don't think they're going to have it all that easy. Newport sits 6th in League 2, although that form is really dipping lately. No wins in their last 4. Jamil Matt is their real threat, and they really need to get him firing every game. He has 7 in his last 9 games, and that's the kind of form they need their strikers on if they want to stay at the top of League 2. And they're going to need to find their 5th away victory against a strong unit at home in the Metropolitan Police. But we feel they just about have enough to do this, and we think Newport County will come away with a 2-1 victory to get their name into the 2nd round of the FA Cup. This tie will be at Conference North leaders Chorley, who have had a sensational start to the season, 15 games unbeaten they were, including winning their first 7 of the season, has seen them chalk right to the top of the table. 3 defeats in a row since that run for Chorley has meant rivals gaining on them in the Conference North, most notably 2 of those defeats against promotion rivals Bradford Park Avenue and Spennymoor. Chorley reached this stage by coming from 2-0 down at Conference National side Barrow in a phenomenal comeback 3-2. Adam Blakeman has a few goals this season at the back, and he will need to be at his strongest with his defensive partners to try and keep out Doncaster Rovers. Chorley reached the first round last season, losing 2-1 to Fleetwood Town. That was the first time since 1990 they had reached this part of the cup. 2 years in a row means good pedigree is now forming at Chorley, and they will be looking to either have another money spinner after this, plus a promotion at the end of the season. Will be a phenomenal year for Chorley FC. And who knows, they could go one better than their best ever record in this competition, which was a second round replay, losing to Preston North End way back in 1986. Doncaster, on the other hand, sitting pretty in League One. Again, another side that started very well under the radar. People are starting to suss them out a little bit now. Their form has definitely dipped. They reached the third round last season, going out to Rochdale. Their best run is finishing in the 5th round, which they have done on 3 occasions. They've not won in 4 games. 3 defeats in a row have left them tumbling down the league just a little bit, and they will need John Marquis especially to help them firing back on all cylinders by finding his goal scoring touch yet again. Only 1 in 7 for the prolific striker. He has 10 this season, so they really will be hoping he can find the goals. FA Cup form against other non-league teams, Doncaster normally fare very well, winning the last 5 against non-league opposition. We fancy Doncaster to just get the job done and edge past Chorley in a tight 2-0 victory for Doncaster. Western Super Mare. You'd be forgiven to thinking how the hell would they have got to the first round at the beginning of the season, which it took them 11 games to find their first victory of the season in the 18-19 National League South. Since then, they've been on very good form. 1 defeat in their last 6 games, and shocking National League South rivals Bath City in the 4th round qualifier to reach this stage. In 2003, they managed their best ever finish in the FA Cup when reaching the 2nd round, losing to Northampton Town. And this will be their first appearance for 3 years in the first round proper. Currently sitting bottom of the National League South and cut adrift slightly, they will be finding it very tough up against a really in-form and National League current leaders, Wrexham. The Welsh side have loved the FA Cup a few times, great memories of this competition, reaching the quarterfinals on 2 occasions. However, this is their first appearance in the first round for 3 years, getting knocked out at the last hurdle every single time. So they'll be looking to make amends and maybe having to go at getting a money spinner into the 3rd round. And how could you not mention Wrexham in the FA Cup and not remember this moment?
6 minutes left. Watkin. Oh, he scored! Steve Watkin has got a goal! And Arsenal face humiliation.
As I said, they're top of the National League, unbeaten in 9 games in all competitions, so really red-hot form. We don't fancy any slip-ups here, and we think Wrexham will do this comfortably against a struggling Western Supermare side. I believe Wrexham could hit them with quite a few, and I think this will be a 4-0 drubbing, meaning Wrexham will be in the draw on Monday for the 2nd round of the FA Cup. So that's that then, guys. We've done a review of the games that we have featured. Another couple of mentions I'd like to give out. I believe Dover, who Heston Tyler has got a little bit of extra bite out in the last couple of weeks. I think they might be able to go to Bury and maybe sneak a replay out of that. Very good odds at that price anyway. And Hampton and Richmond on Monday night. Oldham Athletic have not been convincing of late, and they really have struggled. And I think they could come unstuck against non-league team Hampton and Richmond. If you'd like to see the other results in the games that I predict, then please go and check out our Twitter page, our Instagram page, and you will see a link there to show you what results we believe will happen in them games. Going into our bets then for this weekend, well, we fancy a few upsets. However, our banker, if you like, bet we feel quite strongly about is this one. All odds are from Skybet. Coventry City at 7-4. Burn Albion at 6-4. Accrington Stanley 10-11s. The Posh 8-13s. And Newport to get the job at Metropolitan Police done. That's 29-1 on a 5-team accumulator. We believe that's a quite strong bet. We think Coventry are their form at the moment. So this is our mixed acca for the weekend. Both teams to score but match result on Oxford to beat Forest Green. Both teams to score in the Maidstone game. Shrewsbury versus Salford 2. And over 2.5 goals in the games at Spotland and Alfreton when they host Fleetwood. Our one bet we really like this weekend is this one. Solihull Moors 10-3 to win both halves away at Hitchin. We also like the odds of them to win to 0 and not both teams to score. We think Solihull Moors will get the job done. They're a very solid side this season, so that's a real top tip that we believe will come in. And let's get back to the magic of the FA Cup. What shocks will there be this weekend? Who will bottle it? Who will rise to the occasion? Salford will ensure a replay against Shrewsbury. We think Aldershot will shoot down the Bantams. Maidstone to edge past Macclesfield. And Stockport to dump the Glovers out at Hewish Park. The odds on that are great, and who knows, surely another bet that could be coming in. Will Chesterfield finally win again? They're draw specialists at the moment. They place Billericay top of the Conference South. That sure will be another good game. There's plenty of them around. We hope you're going to get to a few of them this weekend. Please let us know which games you agree with and what your predictions are for this week. Let us know where you're off to as well. Don't forget to follow our Instagram and our Twitter page. Give us a like on this page. Subscribe to us for further videos in the future. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the FA Cup. Football is the winner.